Taking an example from the Portswigger community, let's continue with Exercise 3, Custom Editor tab. First, you need to go to this location in order to download the source code. Now, this particular extension is going to add a new tab to your message editor. Now, that new tab is going to be labeled Serialized Objects. And what this will do is it will display conventionally unsupported data formats that allow you to see them inside of Burp. So when reviewing the code, you will notice that there's a special class that will be handling the encoding and decoding, and that's this base64 input tab. Also, there is a Node.js server that you'll need to run. So you'll need to download Node.js. You can do that at this location. Start the particular Node.js server from the GitHub download, and that server is located in /server/server.js. And then in order to start that web server, which runs on localhost port 8000, you do the following command, node space server.js. Then you're going to open your browser to port 8000. It should forward already to demo.aspx, but if not, you can explicitly go there. So now for your assignment, I want you to modify the extension code adding debug statements. I want you to run the Node.js web server and browse to that ASP page, and then load your customized extension and go ahead and test out your changes. This is the answer key for Exercise 3, Custom Editor tab. So I'm going to go through the source code changes that I made to add debug statements. I'm going to start up the Node.js web server. I'm going to import that extension into Burp, generate some HTTP traffic, view that request in the proxy history table, and look at the new tab that's been created with the input that was placed in there and generated. This is the answer key for the Custom Editor tab. Now, this particular extension provides for an additional tab inside of your message editor. So let's take a look at how it works. First, inside of the register extender callbacks, you were asked to add some debug statements. And you can see that I've got those enabled here. The next function that you see is to create a new instance of this particular tab, and it's going to return that base64 import tab. Now realize that base64 is being used here, but the serialization could be whatever may be specific to your application. So now let's go ahead and look at the details of the base64 input tab class. So in this class, you're going to see that there are variables created to take in parameter information. We can see that the tab caption is labeled serialized input. The tab is going to be enabled for us to use, and we can also edit it. If you look at this line right here, you can see that the content that is received in is going to be assigned to parameter. That parameter, which is serialized, is then deserialized or decoded inside of the new tab. And that's done here. And then we have the text inside of that tab, which we are able to modify. Let's go ahead and see this Python plugin in action. So I'm going to go ahead and add this plugin. And I have my debug statement there. Now, in order to see this run properly, you do need to go ahead and start the Node.js web server. And I have that running here. You'll find it located under this folder, Example Customs Editor tab Server, and then just start it with the node command. So opening my browser here, I have the input box. I'm going to put some data there and click Submit. Now, in order to see what happened, we need to go over to the Proxy tab, look at our HTTP history, and under the Request tab, you'll notice that there is a new tab there, the Serialized Input. Now, what happened first under the Raw tab is the string that I typed into the text box got converted to base64, and it got assigned to this data equals. Now the serialized input tab takes that input and decodes the base64 message, which is the following. Input equals my test, and time equals, and it gives the timestamp. So what you would do is you would change this plugin to accommodate the particular serialization that your application might be using. And then you could have that serialization decoded on your own special tab. And this concludes the Custom Editor tab answer key.